Welcome to this demo. I will be showing the Postmark integration that is hosted in our integrations hub. What this integration does is to allow single or batch emails to be sent via Postmark. The integration accepts JSON events from EPCC, or it can accept events from any other event source that sends compatible JSON. At a minimum, for this integration to work, you need to provide the triggered by information, and you need to provide the secret key inside configuration. This incoming event data is mapped to an email by means of event configuration held in the integration. The event type is identified by the triggered by field, and this is used to associate it with event configuration data. Any event can have multiple event configurations that describe different emails to be sent for that one event. The email configuration also identifies a Postmark template. The integration prepares the model data for Postmark based on the event configuration and then invokes the Postmark API to send an email built from the template held in Postmark. So in a sense, there are two templates to prepare when sending an email. There's the template inside Postmark, which is the actual email content with fields, placeholders for fields that have to be filled out. And then inside the integration, there's the event configuration. And that's used to describe how to extract data from the event and prepare it for Postmark. I also want to highlight that the recipient can be a single email recipient or a set of recipients. Right, let's now look into the configuration and creation of emails. Let's first start on the Postmark side, where I've created an email template that we can discuss. So here we are in Postmark, and we are looking at a template I've created. Notice the template has an alias, and it also has an ID. Right, in the event configuration, we specify either the ID or the alias, and that's used to identify the template, and that's what we pass through to Postmark. You'll also notice that we have fields in double curly braces, moustache format, and these are the fields that are going to be populated from the data built up inside the integration. So the integration receives the event data, it extracts the fields, and the event configuration tells it how to do that. That's sent across to Postmark, and Postmark then builds up the email and sends the email. So let's move on and let's have a look at a corresponding event configuration. Here is my event metadata example. 3 sections: messaging provider, dynamic field mapping, and metadata. When I register this event configuration in my integration, I specify the associated event type. You won't see the event type inside this event configuration. This event configuration is used to build up the payload that's sent to Postmark. Inside your integration in the integrations hub, you can add multiple event configurations into a single integration. Make sure that for custom events, your event key is prefixed with custom dot. This is not needed for EPCC events. In the messaging provider section, we have the information that tells Postmark how to dispatch the email. It has to have the to field, it has to have the from field, and it can have either template ID or template alias. You can have a single recipient in the to field or multiple recipients. If you want multiple recipients, you need to also include a property, allow multiple recipients, and set it to true, and then the to field becomes an array format. Notice the JSON arter expression. Also notice the from field. The from field is a literal, so that passes through exactly as it is, whereas the JSON arter expression gets populated with the data that it references in the incoming event. Dynamic field mapping. These are the fields that are passed to Postmark and are inserted into your email template. Metadata. This is additional data associated with your email. You can have anything you want here. It's a great idea to put your template alias here. Let's have a look at the metadata. If we go and look at our email history, select our email, here we can see the metadata is associated with the email. Let's now create an instance of the integration. You'll notice that under the trigger details, we have a bunch of different flows. The flow that's of interest to us is main flow. That's the one that we send events to, that causes emails to be sent via Postmark. Right, now we need to enter our Postmark API key. So I need to go back to my Postmark dashboard to grab that. Now I need to enter my EPCC connection details. I can also set a log level for the flow. I can also configure the behavior of how the flow ends. This is of more interest to you in terms of how you want to monitor the flow. Do you want an error to be thrown at the end? Do you want to log errors so you can close up with monitoring? That's optional. And now the important thing is to add the event mapping. So the event I want to map is my order created event. And now I need to paste in my event configuration. Here's the event configuration we're going to use. Just before we paste that in, I just want to drill down into these JSON Archer expressions and how they work. So this one, for example, takes payload data customer email. So let's have a look at that in the actual event. And here, if we look at my event data, you can see I have payload, data, customer, and email. That means this field will be pulled out and will be populated into our event configuration. Right, so let's copy this configuration, paste it into here. And we're done. My integration is configured. Let's get our URL that we can test. So it's the main flow that we are interested in. Let's copy the URL. I'm going to test in Postman. So I've pasted my URL. I select post. I've pasted my event in. Now, the important thing to point out in the event is at the top level of this JSON, if it's a custom event, you also have to have triggered by and the name of your event. In the case of a custom event, it needs to be prefixed with custom dot. Otherwise, the integration will have a problem. The other thing that you must have, get to it, is the configuration section with your secret key. We select on our store settings here at the left, go to our webhooks. Here we can see our order created Postmark event. Select that, and here is our secret key. Now we've obtained our secret key, put it in our event, we can now send, and we get a success response. For more detail, we'll need to look into the logs. Let's go into my emails. Here's the email that's been sent, and you can see here that the template has been nicely filled out with the fields that were templated fields, including here in the subject.